Okay, so, after seeing that the, new recording did indeed record my voice, I'm going to show you guys my spoiler review of Jurassic World. Now, this does have spoilers in it, so, you might want to be cautious with what you look at. So, Jurassic World. We have a colorful cast of both human and not so human characters. So the film opens with an egg hatching, and this egg belongs to our dinosaur villain, the Indominus Rex. So the Indominus Rex hatches, and she's all like, oh god, where am I? Oh my god, it's so scary, ah! And, after that we see some little kids, Zach and Gray, being, packed up for their trip to Jurassic World, which is almost entirely, there to, distract them from an upcoming divorce that their parents are going through. I, didn't color any of the recap, images, so I'm almost afraid you might not be able to see it. So Zach and Gray here, there's Zach and there's Gray, are sent to visit their aunt, Claire, but Claire is kind of busy, so she sends them with Zara, played by Katie McGrath. So the park is allegedly getting very boring, which is clearly not true considering the way everyone is acting when they get there. So Claire thinks that creating a hybrid dinosaur, the Indominus Rex, is a good idea. Masrani, however, notices that there are some problems, so he asks Claire to speak with Owen Grady. Wait. Oh, wait, those are the raptors. Oh, yeah, Owen. To speak with Owen Grady, the raptor trainer. Claire has already met Owen. They went on a date once, and they didn't like each other that much, but Claire decides to give it a shot, and, heads off to, speak to Owen about it. Meanwhile, Zach and Gray are enjoying their trip, at the Gentle Giants Petting Zoo, which is a fan-favorite attraction. And can you blame them? Because it has cute baby dinosaurs and also triceratopses that children can ride. So Zara gets distracted by a phone call about her fiance wanting a bachelor party or something. And the brothers decide to head off somewhere else. They end up going to the most popular shot of the film next to Chris Pratt riding motorcycles with velociraptors, the Mosasaurus feeding. Oh, and just to show how awesome the park is and how unfair it is that it's not real, we have the entire stadium after the Mosasaurus feeding sinks into a giant aquarium where the Mosasaurus eats the shark. And even Zach thinks that this is pretty cool. So anyway, Owen has to inspect the Indominus Rex's paddock for vulnerabilities, and Claire figures that and then he and Claire find out that the I-Rex seems to have escaped. Yeah, 'cause that's new in Jurassic Park, a dinosaur escaping. So Claire gets into the product placement mobile and calls her tech support guy Lowry to track the I-Rex from her tracking device or whatever. Unfortunately, it turns out that the I-Rex has some method of hiding, and it turns out she didn't escape at all. The I-Rex then kills everyone who got into the paddock except for Owen and runs off. And everyone is pretty distraught about this. Meanwhile, turns out Gray already knew about the divorce, and he's pretty broken up about it. So Zach decides to cheer him up by taking him to the gyrosphere safari, And the gyrospheres are really cool. Meanwhile, the ACU, a grouping of SWAT team-esque animal captures who only have 3 days left till retirement, go off to capture the I-Rex. You can probably guess how well that turned out. So Owen says, you know, evacuate the island. And Claire says, but we would never reopen. And I say, oh, you were serious. Let me laugh harder. Oh, but in all seriousness, if she had seen the first movie, she would know that they would reopen eventually. So after the ACU is killed, Owen decides that that Masrani has to talk to Henry Wu, the guy who created the I-Rex, while Claire runs off to try and get Zack and Gray back. So she calls Zara and asks, Zara, please bring my nephews back. And Zara's all like, oh, I can't find them. They ran off while I wasn't looking. And Claire freaks out and tries to find out where they are. And she finds out that they're in the Gyrosphere Valley. And she's all like... and so eventually she goes off to Owen and says, my nephews are lost. I need your help. And Owen is all like, well, okay, don't panic. How old are they? And Claire's all like, well, one of them is, the other one is, and Owen's like, you don't know how old your own nephews are? In her defense, I don't know. I sometimes forget how old my sisters are. So Masrani tries to talk some sense into Henry Wu. This is about the gist of their conversation. And then the Indominus Rex ambushes Zack and Gray while they're going off-road on their gyrosphere. That was Zack's idea. They had rolled into an area that was open. Why that hole was there and why no one felt the need to fill it up, I don't know. And they find themselves a herd of grazing ankylosauruses. But while they're doing this, Gray's freaking out because they're not allowed to do this, and he's like, they'll catch us and we'll go to jail and they'll shave our heads and we'll have to make root beer in a toilet. And Zack's like, dude, what? I think it's, as When Dinosaurs Ruled the Mind put it, and I'll put a plug in the description panel for that, I think this is a good time to say that Gray was originally intended to be autistic. And as an autistic individual, I'm totally on board with that, and I'm taking it as canon that he is. And, because his portrayal is still fairly consistent with, being on the spectrum, and I like the idea of that. As an autistic individual who acted pretty similar as a kid, I can totally get behind that portrayal. But like, I also as a side note, people seem to think that Claire might also be on the spectrum. Again, not entirely unlikely. She has some issues with social interaction, and when Masrani tries to asks her if she's if everything's going smoothly at the park, she's all like, oh yeah, and then rattles off statistics and whatnot. So yeah, that's possible. It's possible. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say I'm still not gonna say that it's automatically canon, but like I take it as canon that Gray is on the spectrum. I'm not sure about Claire, but like it's not unlikely, especially since the disorder is genetic. But like pushing that aside for a little while, so like while the boys are kind of arguing, the ankylosauruses have this oh crap look on their faces, and the Indominus Rex is like, rah! And she attacks the gyrosphere and then kills an Ankylosaurus. No wait. Reverse order. She kills an Ankylosaurus and then attacks the gyrosphere. So yeah, that doesn't go so well. But the boys escape and they jump over a waterfall. And Zach's like, we jumped! And they have this cute little brotherly moment before they head off. So Owen and Claire get to the Gyrosphere Valley, and we have a very emotional scene where Littlefoot's mother dies. Again. And even Claire has this reaction like, oh my god, I can't believe I decided to view these animals as being just scores on a spreadsheet. And Owen finds out that Littlefoot's mother is not the only victim of the Indominus Rex, and he's all like, she's killing for sport. And Claire is all like, how could this horrible creature be so cruel? And Owen's all like, please tell me you're joking. Yeah, that doesn't happen, but like, it should have. So Zach and Gray make it to the ruins of the old visitors center, and they manage to light a torch by using a piece of Rexy's dropped mic and wrapping it around a bone, and then lighting it with some matches that Gray apparently had in his pocket. My question is, why did a 12-year-old have matches in his pocket? And how did those matches not be completely ruined when they jumped into the water? I'll just brush that aside. But like, they somehow managed to get a Jeep up and running, and they drive off. So Owen and Claire decide to follow them. They're ambushed by the I-Rex, but who cares about that? And Masrani decides to go after the I-Rex himself. But he's not a very good pilot. Okay, so they follow the I-Rex all the way to the pterosaur aviary. Which is where mine and Treasure's favorite part of the movie. I took Treasure to both the viewings of the movie, because he wanted to see it. Where mine and Treasure's favorite part of the movie happens. So as Owen and Claire watch helplessly, the Indominus Rex crashes into the aviary and terrifies the poor pteranodons and dimorphodons into abandoning their habitat. Understandably, the pteranodons and dimorphodons are ticked off at having to leave their home, so they immediately attack the first thing they can find. Unfortunately, the first thing they can find is Masrani's helicopter. So the pterosaurs kill Masrani, and then they fly out of the aviary. So this leads to a fairly comical moment where Zach and Gray are driving around and having a lot of fun, and then they see the pterosaurs chasing after them, and Gray is all like, "Oh crap! Zach, go faster, go faster!" And they drive towards a gate where two security guards are like, "Well, that's new," and the boys are like, "Open the gate!" And the security guards just look up, and the pterosaurs are like, "Rock, rock!" And so after that, the pterosaurs attack the most populated part of the park. Why these people weren't running into buildings or something, I have no idea. But like, they start attacking people and pecking at them. I really like the fact that they decided not to give the pteranodons teeth to make them menacing this time. Like, they just peck at people with their beaks. That's pretty cool. At this point, Zara gets a comically over-the-top death, where a pteranodon grabs her, then drops her into the Mosasaurus tank, then dives in to grab her some more, and I'll talk about that a little more soon. And then the Mosasaurus jumps out and eats them both. Okay, as a side note, I love the fact that they remembered that pteranodons can swim. Like, the pteranodons dive... The pteranodons literally dive in like gannets or pelicans. And when I first saw that, I was spazzing out. Diving pteranodons, swimming pteranodons, gannets, pelicans, so much coolness before my sister calmed me down. And the second time I just kind of went, Treasure liked it too, except he didn't really like the part with the Mosasaurus. The boys manage to escape, and then Owen manages to tranquilize a few pterosaurs, but apparently, like every other female on the planet, a Dimorphodon apparently really wanted a piece of Chris Pratt. But Claire was all like, "No, don't you dare touch my boyfriend," and Claire. And like Owen's all like, "My hero," and Claire and Zach and Gray are all like, "Is that Aunt Claire?" And Owen kisses Claire, and that's a really great scene, I think. And Claire squeals when she finds out that the boys are okay, and Zach's all like, "Who's that?" And Claire's all like, "Oh, just somebody I work with." And the boys are just look at her like, "Liar." I personally think Zach was thinking of something along the lines of, "So is this why you said you were too busy for us?" Honestly, I love that scene. I love that scene primarily because they gender flipped the rescue romance trope. Now, granted, this isn't the first time that's ever been done, but I still like the way they did it. Like Claire saves Owen. Owen falls in love with her because she saved him, and there's no awkwardness. There's no awkward, I was saved by a girl thing. No. It's pretty much like, "You just saved my life. I want you so badly." Anyway, all the tourists are driven out of the park, but all the surviving tourists are evacuated and driven out of the park by the pteranodons. And, at one point we see one pteranodon perched on the Spinosaurus skeleton and flapping her wings and squawking as if to say, "This is my park now, get out!" And, so the stampede of panicked tourists, okay. My computer went kind of laggy there. So the stampede of panicked tourists runs straight out, and Owen, Claire, and the boys all drive away. And we have that comical scene where the boys say, "Oh, can we go with you?" And Claire's like, "I will never leave you as long as I live." And the boys are like, "No, him." And Claire's all like, "Oh." Well, to be fair, he's the one who actually knows how to shoot a gun. So when they get to fell off my bed. When they get to the area, they see that Vic is trying to use the raptors to hunt down the I-Rex. And Claire and Owen are understandably ticked off at him. Owen gets all protective dad-like and punches Hoskins in the face like a sensible person would, and both Zach, Gray, and the raptors are all like, "Yeah!" And Claire is pretty much like, "I can't believe you did what you did. You knew this was gonna happen." And Hoskins was like, "Hey, all I did was orchestrate an escape so that I could make sure that these raptors would be used for war." And we all get the desire to do exactly what Owen did. But Hoskins manages to convince Owen that they have to use the raptors to chase down the I-Rex. This doesn't turn out so well, because the I-Rex manages to turn the everyone against them. Okay, so so they go to the Innovation Center and try to find Henry Wu, and they find some really strange things instead, including a lizard with feathers, an amphibian with a weird fin on its back, and a strangely intelligent chameleon. Like, I'm not even kidding about that one. The chameleon was, like, staring at Owen while grabbing bugs with its hands. I think there was also an Ouroboros type serpent. Or no, wait, Amphisbena type serpent, I think. It was a serpent with, it looked like a boa constrictor with a head on each end, but I'm not entirely sure. How does it go to the bathroom? But, like, what they can't find is Henry Wu, and Claire's all like, where's Henry? And little does she know, Henry Wu was in on the whole thing, and he's a villain, so he escaped with Indominus Rex embryos. So Hoskins shows up and is all like, we're gonna use these raptors for war, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. And then Delta shows up, and Delta really has it in for Hoskins. She's been staring at him like, I'm gonna eat you, for the entire movie. And Hoskins is like, no, I'm on your side, good boy, and Delta's all like, I'm a girl! And she does the only sensible thing that anyone's done in the movie. She bites his hand off and then rips him apart. So anyway, they escape from Delta by the boys setting up a Dilophosaurus hologram. I really like the fact that they put the Dilophosaurus in there, even if it was just a hologram. I like the Dilophosaurus. I mean, I know I don't like the fact that Jurassic Park's Dilophosaurus is more popular than the real thing, but I do like the Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus. Don't get me wrong. But like meanwhile, Owen manages to get the raptors back on his side, and they all have a merry little battle against the Indominus Rex, and she mostly wins. So yeah, like she now the battle is really cool, but it's brutal. Like she tosses Blue against a wall. She grabs Echo and flings her into the steakhouse restaurant named after Stan Winston, may he rest in peace. And she falls onto the grill and explodes. And and she also like crunches Delta and tosses her away too. So the fight's not doing so well. Oh, and I forgot, earlier Charlie, the fourth raptor, exploded. Did I have a picture for that? No, I should have mentioned that earlier. But like, eventually Owen and the boys hide in the gift shop, and Gray counts the teeth in the Indominus Rex. Yeah, I don't know how he does that either. And he says, we need more teeth. And Claire's like, that gives me an idea. And she grabs a flare and says, don't move. And then she runs off to this giant door and says, and basically she calls Lowry and says, Lowry, open the door. And Lowry's like, are you crazy? And Claire's like, just do it. And so the door starts to open. Claire lights up the flare, and guess who's standing there? Yep, it's the T-Rex. So like, Claire runs out, still in high heels, by the way. She's in high heels and she's running from the T-Rex. She's running out of the paddock while the I-Rex is clawing at the boys and trying to grab Gray by his bag and trying to drag him out. And then Claire tosses the flare at the I-Rex. The I-Rex looks up in confusion, and the T-Rex, she crashes through the Spinosaurus skeleton in what's essentially supposed to be a giant middle finger to the to Jurassic Park 3, and she's all like, yeah, the Queen's back. Yeah, what are you gonna do now, punk? And like so like. The kids, Claire, Owen, and Lowry are watching as this huge battle goes on, and like the T-Rex bites the I-Rex, and then the I-Rex bites back, and they keep fighting each other until eventually the I-Rex has the I-Rex seems to have the T-Rex at her mercy. She's about to, she's all like, yeah, I'm the queen now, and the T-Rex just gives her a look like, you're queen of nothing. And there's something, and she looks like she's about to kill her, and then we hear the raptor bark, and it turns out Blue is still alive, and she runs in, and she just jumps on the I-Rex and starts biting at her and clawing at her, and then Rexy smashes in, and the Rex smashes in too, and they start fighting the I-Rex, and like, yeah, they totally manage to, oh wait, they have this absolutely epic battle where the Rex and Blue are smashing into the I-Rex, and they're pushing her back, and like they're fighting her so epically, and like they manage to weaken her a lot, and like she's all, by the end she's all like, no, I won't lose, like at the by the end of the battle she's all like, no, I'm not gonna lose, and then out of nowhere the Mosasaurus jumps out of the water. She jumps out of the water, and she slams onto the ground and grabs the I-Rex by the neck, and she drags the I-Rex back into the water and eats her. And it's so amazing. And then Rexy and Blue just kind of look at each other, like Rexy's all like, we put up a pretty good fight, didn't we? And Blue's all like, yeah, we did. And Rexy just walks away like, if you ever need a new alpha, just give me a call. And like, Blue just kind of looks at Owen, and Owen decides that she's free now, and so Blue runs off into the night, presumably to team up with Rexy and rule the island forever with her. And then everyone's evacuated. Owen and Claire decide to get back together. This whole incident having been very good for their relationship. Zach and Gray are reunited with their parents, and Lowry's sad that the park's closed, but he's happy that they all survived. And then we get one of the best scenes in the entire movie. The park has been completely abandoned, and the dinosaurs and other creatures all have free reign of it. A flock of pteranodons are flying over the park as the sun rises, and the T-Rex stands on top of the heliport and roars triumphantly as she reclaims her kingdom. And so, all in all, and it's set to the most absolutely epic music ever. So, all in all, Jurassic World is a really, really good movie, from my perspective at least. It is scientifically inaccurate, I will give it that. I will give you guys that. It is not a scientifically accurate movie. It's got a lot of flaws, like, I know that a lot of my fellow paleonuts do not like the fact that the excuse that was given in the movie, but like I'm willing to forgive them. Like there's no way that the DNA sequences could ever be pure. Because the DNA sequences are like millions of years old. Besides, if this were going to be a scientifically accurate movie, the entire movie wouldn't exist in the first place. Because, first off, dinosaur DNA can't preserve unless it's a recently extinct bird. Second off, we can't get DNA from the Mesozoic. The shelf life of DNA is up to 1 million years. Dinosaurs have been extinct for 76 million, or something along those lines. It's not like, so yeah, and the Mosasaurus, the chances of getting a Mosasaurus's DNA are pretty slim. So yeah, it's not like we can, we can legitimately clone dinosaurs, so I don't see why people are getting so crazy about the inaccuracies. I will confess I would have liked there to be feathered raptors. But they did manage to get some things right. Like, the sauropods have toeless forelimbs. Like I said earlier, the pteranodons dive into the water and swim for food instead of, you know, snapping it up on the fly. I mean, granted, they also have the gripping talons, but that's beside the point. And they're toothless. The pteranodons are toothless for once. Again, there is an inaccuracy with the pteranodons. I was hoping that this movie would remember the quad launch, because that's cool. Like, instead they went with the jump flap launch, and I didn't like that. Treasure didn't either, but Treasure liked the pteranodons. I will admit, I thought the pteranodons were ugly when I first saw them, and I still kind of do. I don't like how their heads look like skulls, but I find them less ugly now, and in fact, looking back, the Dimorphodons are actually more ugly. Which is weird, because the toy Dimorphodon is really cute, in my opinion. But yeah, the Dimorphodons were worse in terms of accuracy. I mean, they were furry and all that, but they were still, they were very inaccurate. Not only did they have gripping talons, but they also ate fish. Dimorphodon probably didn't eat fish. But, like, I would have liked there to be more accurate qualities, yeah, but like, it's a Jurassic Park movie. They're not gonna suddenly decide to make things accurate. And at least with the T-Rex, the lack of feathers are understandable, because like, she's the original T-Rex. Like, she's like 20-something years old, which is ancient by Rex standards. So she's not gonna suddenly sprout feathers, because she's the original T-Rex. But like, it's, I think the biggest flaw, in my opinion, with the film is that they didn't explore the park enough. Like, the park itself needed way more focus than it got. I would have loved there to be an entire section of the opening, just an entire scene in the opening sequence where they just showed nothing but the park. Like, just, they could supply at least 2 minutes of the film. They could set aside at least 2 minutes of the film showing off just how marvelous and stupendous this theme park is. Because it looks amazing. They make it look as incredibly, beautifully genuine as possible, and like, it's a very realistic theme park. It looks like it could be a real working theme park. They don't make anything too out there. Like, even the holograms look like they could be real. And like, they look at the website. They have such a, I'll link to the website. They have so many wonderful pages that just make the whole thing look so lifelike. They talk about the many attractions, like the Cretaceous cruise. That looks like so much fun. Like, rafting down the rivers and looking at all these dinosaurs and these ancient plants and all that. Like, there's a T-Rex feeding. You can watch the T-Rex be fed a live goat. The Mosasaurus feeding with the stadium that lowers into an aquarium. The Mosasaurus jumping out to eat sharks. And the Gentle Giants petting zoo, which my little sisters would die for. They would just love it. Where you can pet and feed the dinosaurs. The little kids can ride the Triceratops. There's the aviary where the pteranodons and the Dimorphodons can fly around, and like, you can watch them from what I'm assuming is the Teratops Lodge from the novel. And the gyrospheres, which are amazing, although I will admit I agree with the nostalgia critic and how it should have ended. It's not necessarily as good an idea as it sounds, because the gyrospheres look like they could, like, I agree with the nostalgia critic. The gyrospheres actually look more dangerous for the animals than they do for the humans. Because, like, they're strong enough to withstand a lot of things other than Ankylosaurus tails. And Ankylosaurus tails are ridiculously strong, so I'll give them that. But, like, can you imagine how those gyrospheres would be towards the not-so-strong animals like Gallimimus? Like, I would, I can imagine there would be people who would try to abuse that, like, no. But like the gyrospheres still look cool, and one of my sisters said that that would be their favorite. And there's the Gallimimus Valley which is basically a big safari. It all looks so amazing, and they just kind of glossed over it. And I'm really sad about that because it looks like fun. What I also really liked about the park is that the staff members seem to love it too. Even the employees seem to enjoy themselves. Like the Mosasaurus feeder, the Mosasaurus announcer in particular, she seemed so happy about her job. She was like, "Okay, folks, let's see if she's still hungry after having already eaten today." The film was great though, and I'm looking forward to the DVD. Maybe the DVD will have some special features, and judging from the list of special features, it probably will, that show off a little bit of the park, any part of the park we missed. I guess that's all I have to say. Jurassic World is a great movie, and I think you should check it out. If you're a serious paleo nut, this movie might be a little too inaccurate for your taste, but if you just love prehistoric creatures and want to check it out, then go ahead. It's a really good movie, so I'm willing to say that it's almost as good as the first one. Nothing can surpass the first one. The first one was amazing, but like, this one was majorly awesome. So so that's my spoiler review. I'll see you all when I make my next video, which I don't know when that will be. So sorry for wasting your time. Goodbye.